Come with me for 2 days in Paris. I was in Paris for about 2 weeks, but this video is just going to capture 2 days. All right, come along. I got on and I was like, well, I'll come to the bookstore, Shakespeare and Co. Didn't realize there'll be a line. Makes sense though. So, but when we're in there, we cannot use our phones or pictures, whatever. So, this is how it looks from the outside. And I'll let you guys know what I buy once I'm in there. And I really should buy an umbrella. And honestly, the umbrella was in the other suitcase before I started these permanent travels. And I left it with Nick, and he doesn't even need the umbrella. I am so happy. I sort of bummed you can't take video in there, but I bought myself a book, a little bag, and 3 postcards because I didn't get any postcards when we were in Bali, and I've been trying to get postcards for all my nieces and nephews as I get my travels. So I got 3, and then I'll get postcards from other locations. But I figured they'll like it. Now I'm going to try to see if I can get into the Norte Dame. It is free, but I researched lines can be long. So we will see. The Notre Dame is free. While the line is long, if you didn't buy a ticket beforehand, it moves very quickly. You may feel rushed to walk around with the group when you get in, but you can take your time and sit in the middle. There's plenty of chairs and you can hear music, and it's just take a moment because it does feel like you shouldn't keep moving along, but this is a time for you to take a moment for yourself. So there's just so much history and beauty when you are walking around. I strongly suggest just taking a moment at each wall and window and just really taking in all that history, and if you can. Now, I didn't pay extra to go to the top, but that is something you could clearly do. I just wanted to walk around. And especially because this particular day it was cold and it was raining, I wasn't sure if the views from the top were going to be worth it. So that is something that does cost money. But like I mentioned, to go in doesn't cost any money. And the only thing you spend money on is maybe souvenirs, and lighting a candle. Really loved this part. It was gold. It was just really shimmery. This was towards the back of the cathedral. Now, I did light a candle. I figured I'm in the Cathedral Notre Dame, so let me just light a candle. I'm not extremely religious, but this is just something I love to do when I go into, churches with a lot of history. There's just some beauty to it and calmness to it. Alright, so I light a candle as I go to the cathedrals like this, and I just said like a silent wish, if you were a prayer, if you want to call it that. I'm just really like everyone in my family to get physically well, and pretty much just for my nieces and nephews to live a life where they are happy and proud of their lives. That's basically the gist of it, but because it's like a cold day, I didn't want to explore that much because tomorrow's going to be a lot warmer, so I think tomorrow's going to be my really long walking day. But we will see. Like, I'll see how much more energy I have because I still need to go grocery shop. And so that's something to do. But I'm going to get some coffee and then probably like see one more site. And also charge my phone. There we go. That's a lot of things going on. Okay. Afterwards, I was very tired. As I mentioned earlier, I was starting to fight a cold. Unfortunately, right when I got to Paris is when I started to not feel very well. And it was cold and it was raining, and I had a comfortable Airbnb. So I decided I'll just grab some wine, very Parisian of me, and something to eat, and then just make my way back to my Airbnb. And just so you know, the Notre Dame is very close to Shakespeare and Company and close to other sites. So you could easily just walk around here. This is a very touristy area. There's going to be lots of people, lots of restaurants. So if you just have a day, I would say this is like the area you could, start your day from because it's very centrally located for all the touristy sites. All right, so just walk around with me for day one. So we made it to Jardin du Luxembourg, so Luxembourg Park, if you will. And we're just gonna walk around in this beautiful park. I feel like I should call it something else. It's not just a park. I have my Insta 360 on because it's gonna be part of a vlog. If you hear yelling, it's just because it's a bunch of young guys playing football, so soccer. So they're not mad. They're just really into their game right now. And yeah, so let's just walk around. Side note, this park, I cannot remember the name of it, but there's this big park that looked like this when I was in Madrid a few years ago with my husband and my sister, and we took a lot of cute photos there. And it's similar, like it just gave me the same vibes, like long walkways, bunch of trees, grass, so similar to that. But I cannot remember the name of that park in Madrid. But it was really beautiful. Or was it Barcelona? I think it was Madrid.
So as I mentioned, I'm on Jardin du Luxembourg. I believe I said that right. Okay, so this had to be one of my favorite things I did while I was in Paris. As I mentioned, I wasn't feeling really well, and I should have known that I was going to start getting sick because a few days after this is when I got really sick. But anyways, wasn't feeling very well, and it was still cold, still a little cloudy, not as rainy. And this had to be one of the most peaceful things to do in the park, or in the city. It's Paris. It's just was so peaceful and just gorgeous and very calming for the soul. So right now I'm grabbing some coffee. I'm just looking at the menu, trying to figure out what to get. And I think I was going to use Google Translate to ask her, because I think it was hard. In these little stands, I'm always mindful of, like, do they have iced coffee, iced lattes? So I was just making sure I would say it correctly in French. By the way, these little stands that sell the coffee in the park aren't the greatest. They're not the best quality of coffee, but it is something to grab while you are here. So there are restaurants in the park and outside the park, but that serve better food. But these little stands, not so well. I really do enjoy my slow traveling where I'm in a city for about a week, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, so I could take in the sights at my own pace. So I could do things like this. Sorry, I always look so serious when I'm reading. I spent a good amount of time in this park reading my book. You can sit in the middle and it's just so beautiful. There you have multiple chairs. They may not be the most comfortable chairs, but you make do, and everyone just sits and either reads or is just looking at the views, having conversations. But it's just so like a beautiful place to just be. And I really enjoyed my time sitting here watching the lawn be mowed, um, the clouds coming in, the greenery, hearing all the side conversations in multiple languages as people are walking by, because of course there's tourists, so you're gonna hear all these different languages, hearing people maybe gossip about their friends or seeing kids play. There was kids playing with like these little boats at the lake. There was kids playing with kites. You know, people pushing a stroller in these very rocky gravel. And so just being amongst like just life and human beings while taking a moment to read my book. I was towards the end of this book, so I was really invested in finishing it. And it was sort of funny because it was like here in Berlin, so it's about Berlin. And it was a very moody book. Yeah, so the book did not match the vibes of where I was at, but I was very invested in it and I wanted to finish it. So yeah, just sit with me for a little bit as I read. So towards the end, I was like, you know what? I want to see more of this park. Just to walk around, see what's here. There are statues. There are other parts of the park. There are multiple entrances. I didn't go towards the left. As you can see, I sort of went towards the right. So I'm walking towards this big building. I thought maybe it could be a museum that was open, but it wasn't open, and it was just it just reminded me of like a grand house, and we were all on the land of this estate. That's what it sort of reminded me of. But yeah, so I'm just like walking and just seeing people, seeing what everyone's doing. We're coming across this little, I called it a lake earlier, I'm sorry, but it was more of like a big pond waterfall thing where people were sitting around, and this is where you saw more kids and people being a little bit more lively. I think when people are sitting by greenery, they tend to be a little bit quieter. But yeah, so people are just enjoying themselves and enjoying their time. So I was bringing out my phone because I was trying to figure out where to eat and also what there is to see in the park. All right, so I kept walking, and there were some statues and some other things to see here. As you could tell, the weather was slightly getting better because people are running. I'm always fascinated with every city I go to, people go for runs because there's some weather that I'm like, I wouldn't run in this. But you know what? I guess if you live here, you're used to running in this type of weather. But yeah, and I'm like, how beautiful can your life be if like you get to take a run in this beautiful park? Like that is just awesome. All right, so there were just some famous statues over here, and there's more entrances on this side. So there's multiple entrances to this park. I think I went through the very like quiet entrance. This entrance, past these trees, is that entrance is like near like a very busy street, where like the metro lets off and some buses. So this is I think where a lot of people start their journey. I'm walking right now towards the rubbish bin because I need to throw away my coffee cup. And yeah, it's always honestly, when I'm traveling, it's always fun to figure out which bin to put in my rubbish in because each country has different laws. And so I do my best. I look at the pictures. I do my best. A lot of times there's always a place for paper and there's always a place for glass, but they don't necessarily tell me where to put the plastic, which I find interesting because I'm like, there's plastic when you go shopping, when you get coffee shops. I don't know. Sorry, I digress, but it's just, it's one of those things that I'm constantly learning as I'm traveling. All right, so just come along and look at all the beautiful statues and greenery. Okay, mark the time here because this is probably where I lost my glasses, or not glasses, earrings. Side note, when I went to the restaurant, I realized I lost one of my earrings and they were not cheap earrings. And so I was very upset about that. But onto the salad. So this restaurant is in the middle of the park. It is so darling. The staff was very friendly, and they had this meal had to be one of my favorite meals because I think by this point, I was a little tired. I was moving from place to place, and when I was in the countryside of France, because I was watching a dog, I was doing takeaway a lot. So this was nice to sit with a fresh meal, and it was just so delicious. The tomatoes, the avocados, the falafel, the feta cheese, the cucumbers, the carrots. It was just so good. I did try to go back to the restaurant the 2 days later, but when you get there later, they stop serving food. So get there as early as you can. All right, afterwards, I made my way to the Arc de Triomphe, and I didn't realize because it didn't say it cost money on Google, and so I followed this line, and all of a sudden I'm buying tickets, and I'm like, what am I buying tickets for? And the tickets is actually to go to the top, to be in the middle, and to sort of just see the outside is free, but to get to the top in the views, you do have to buy a ticket. Ticket is 16 euros. As you can tell, I went up the stairs. You get beautiful views, especially of the Eiffel Tower. And it was just like a really cool place to just get a whole view of Paris. And for 16 euros, I think it's pretty worth it. Along the stairs, there are rooms that you can stop at where they give the history of the building of the Arc. I strongly suggest stopping there and learning a little bit more about it and what does it mean to the people of France. Because like everything in this part of the world, there is so much history to every building. So I just really enjoyed my view here. And it just was a short tram or metro ride, like a subway ride, to get from the park to here. So not long at all. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me for 2 days in Paris, France. Join me next week because we're going to continue on with our Paris, France journey, and then we're going to go to Germany. All right, see y'all. Bye.